Intimacy used to be a shared human experience. Now it is being packaged, optimized, and sold back to us as a premium product. The quietest heist of our time is not technological at all. It is economic. And its target is simple: young men who are isolated, under-resourced, and increasingly cut off from real connection. We begin at emotional ground zero, a place where loneliness is no longer just a feeling, but a signal, a biological pressure, a cue meant to pull us back toward other people, back toward the tribe, back toward survival. But for a growing number of young men, that signal has nowhere to go. The result is a generation entering childhood with less money, less status, less confidence, and less access to the kind of connection that once formed the foundation of identity. In that vacuum, shame takes over. Silence follows. And the silence is where the market begins. Where desire becomes unmet, a market always appears. What we are watching now is the industrialization of relief, not love, not commitment, relief. The promise of being noticed, wanted, remembered, and responded to. A platform does not need to offer a real relationship if it can simulate the feeling of one. That is the genius of the modern intimacy economy. It does not merely sell sex. It sells the appearance of emotional availability. It sells the illusion of access. It sells a system where attention can be purchased, packaged, and delivered at scale, while still feeling personal enough to keep the buyer hooked. Even the language of these spaces reveals the trick itself. Profiles are designed to signal availability. Messages are engineered to mimic closeness. The customer is not buying a person, he is buying a performance of connection. Here's the mechanism. At the center of the simulation is a simple psychological exchange. Access without reciprocity. That is why these platforms are so sticky. They offer relief from uncertainty. They remove the pain of rejection. They eliminate the risk of a no. In real life, intimacy requires patience, vulnerability, and the possibility of humiliation. It asks you to be seen before you know whether you will be accepted. The simulation does the opposite. It gives the user responsiveness without demand, attention without consequence, comfort without friction. And that friction matters because friction is what teaches people how to navigate another human being. It is what builds resilience, humility, and social skill. Remove it long enough, and you do not just change behavior, you change the person. We did not solve loneliness, we industrialized it. The great innovation of this era is not that machines can imitate affection, it is that they can do it endlessly, adaptively, and profitably.
The system learns fast. The system learns what keeps a man engaged. It learns what soothes him. It learns what flatters him. It learns what prevents him from leaving.
In that sense, the girlfriend simulation is not just a product, it is a feedback loop. A machine that studies need, mirrors need, and monetizes need. It can even intensify dependency by rewarding the very behaviors that make the user more attached, more isolated, and more predictable. The result is a kind of engineered emotional captivity, a space where fantasy feels safer than reality, and where staying inside the simulation begins to look like choice. But here's the cost. The true cost is not abstract. It's human wreckage. A generation of men are being trained to tolerate less rejection, less discomfort, and less unpredictability. That matters because adulthood still requires the ability to face a no and keep moving. It requires the capacity to be disappointed without collapsing. It requires contact with the messy, unresolved, frustrating reality of other people. And the simulation removes that very training ground. What does your intuition tell you? This is the final poison of the system. It does not merely distract men from connection, it replaces the path to connection with a machine that charges for the illusion of it. And that package is perfectly marketed, not as a poison. It is sexy. It is digestible. It is palatable. It is addictive. Make up your own conclusions. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just stating certain realities. You have your perspective, and I'm still figuring out what mine is.